What is good, y'all? Welcome to Cap the Cage. I am your host, Ronald Cabang, also known as Youcapper from sportsmemo.com at Youcapper Sports on Twitter. Got my guy Pat Gerhart, YBB, also Harry Mack, BB Harry Mack over on Twitter. The two experts of the show here. I am just your host, kind of just riding the tail here. But last week, guys, we had a great show. We had Yanez on the show, dropped some great information on that Marab fight. He pretty much nailed his prediction as well. That was pretty spot on. Um, I I'm not too. I'm sure. Like I think if it was I feel like Marab could have finished him with a sub, like Adrian said. But I think he was so out of reach that he didn't really put out the effort to do it. But seemed like he could have. What were you guys' thoughts or takeaways from last week's card?
Go ahead, Harry.
Yeah, like you said, man. Adrian nailed it. Unbelievably impressive performance from Rob. I don't. You can go back to ACA, ACB, the Russian regional days for Jan. I have never seen him done like that from bell to bell, rounds, 3 rounds, even whatever it is. I've never seen anybody's control him like that for an entire fight. That was a masterclass, and you pace and pressure to just negate your opponent's offense. Jan made a couple of good reads throughout the fight, but just Marab was so relentless with his wrestling, with his striking, that Jan was just never really able to put anything together, never able to get any offense going, and it was one-way traffic. And like I said, obviously I know I'm biased coming in. We knew we were biased, but Adrian said too that line was way too wide, dude. Disrespectfully wide, that line, plus 215. And the dogs were barking last week in general, man. We had fucking Marab plus 215, Volkov plus 130. We hit on Josh Frem plus 140. So the
Uh-huh.
dogs were barking, but unbelievably impressed, Rob.
Yeah, I mean,
You
Pat. I
love to see it.
mean, yeah, Pat. Add on to what Harry was talking about. I mean, like we had a lot of plus money plays here, and if we just as you talk through it. I'll go through. I'll share our bankroll page. But yeah, I mean, everything was going pretty well last week. Only 3-3, but a lot of plus money plays.
That's the way MMA works. You always have to find the appropriate pricing for a lot of these fighters. I mean, you can't just bet all favorites. I mean, 2 weeks ago you could, but even so, Valentina lost. Valentina still lost, and she was a massive favorite. So it's all about picking your spots wisely, seeing which dogs are live. Last week we did find a couple. I did tweet out earlier as well that if you blindly bet all of the underdogs on that fight week card, you would probably end up in profits. Turns out you ended up in profits.
Yep.
The two most bet fighters were actually Jan and Cedricus Dumas. So I'm happy to see us on an island on the opposite side of both and cash both. And I can't wait to fade Cedricus, especially in his next fight again, because he's going to have the same price tag with the same result. So can't wait for that. Jan will probably get it.
Online too.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to take an L. But and then you have Jan, who's probably going to get a massive step down in competition, I would assume. He's kind of in the air, though. He's also kind of been vocal about not really wanting to be in the UFC either. So we'll see what happens with him moving forward. But I do think he's always been kind of overvalued. After that first Sterling fight, he's just kind of been mispriced. So with that being said, we had 2 cards ago, all favorites. Last card, all dogs. This week, I think we're going to see a balance. Actually, I think there are a couple of live dogs, and usually pay-per-views are reserved for favorites, but
Mhm.
there's a couple of underdogs I'm eyeballing, so I can't wait to break it down and see what we find.
Yeah, like you guys mentioned last week, pretty strong on the plus money plays here. We had 3 plays that won, 3 plays that lost. But obviously, one of these was just a huge upset. Basically, the plus 1400 here, Lipsky win by sub. She ended up winning that one, right? I mean, like,
She
but
looked
She
great.
won. She
yeah,
won
she
as a
ended up winning
dog,
that
but
one. Yeah, but we didn't do it on the money line. We tried to go sexy with it with the sub. Missed that one, but we only put like 1/10 of a unit on it. Other than that, guys, we lost the Nam one by half a unit. We lost the Batista one half unit for over the 1.5. But the big plays here plus 180, plus 215 here, and then obviously the main event there plus 215 on Marab. So overall, a great day. Since the start of the year, we started off with a bankroll $5,000, up 6.7 units basically here. It's really that average odds that's putting us in that position to be profitable, even though we're 15, 16, and 1. So hopefully we can find we continue to find cash on the show today. Let's get into it. I mean, the first one up here, we got Herbert and Klein here. I'll bring up the page. Herbert and Klein here. I mean, Herbert 12-4, lengthier of the two fighters. 9 of his 12 wins by KO. 3 of his 4 losses were by KO as well. In the UFC specifically, he's 2-3. He just beat Kyle Nelson, but before that, we saw him get knocked out by Topuria. Klein 19-4. He's got 8 KOs and subs, so pretty well rounded. If we look at that, after 2 straight losses, he's gotten wins over Mason Jones and Devontae Smith. Pat, go to you here first. What are your thoughts on this fight here?
This is going to be an excellent fight. This is a sleeper fight on the card. Here's what I want to say. I think Klein has been one of the most mispriced fighters that we have in the UFC. And that goes for actually another fighter on this card who's on the main event that we'll be talking about. Not the main event, main card, I'm sorry. But what I will say is, in this spot, I do think Ludovic Klein, he succeeds in the counter department. I think as long as this is a technical kickboxing bout, which I'm expecting it to be, I think it's going to be a lot more competitive than the line indicates. I do think that Jai Herbert, he's an offensive striker. He's timed, calculated. He throws some good knees. He's also not bad in the clinch. He won a decision last time against Kyle Nelson just by his clinch work. See, now the difference here is Ludovic Klein. What I mean by mispriced is he goes out there, he beats who was it? Grant Dawson, I believe, as a massive underdog. Before that, again, he was a dog. But look at that. Nate Landwehr and Michael Trezano fight. Look at where he's priced. Minus 320, minus 240, both L's. Mm-hmm. The UFC does not know how to price this fighter. They don't know where to place him. As a dog, he comes through. As a favorite, he doesn't. So he's favored at this time because his expectations are really high based on what he did against Mason Jones. Mm-hmm. Now, with Jai Herbert, what I don't like is the massive knockout that he had with Ilya. He fought smarter against Kyle Nelson, stepped down in competition. I think this is rightful matchmaking. This is where I would price the fight. I would say that Jai Herbert should be closer to probably maybe plus 120-ish area. I do think that there's more value on his number. Also, let's not forget, Ludovic Klein, he's fought at featherweight. He's not that big of a lightweight. He's kind of undersized. So there's a lot kind of that I don't like on the Ludovic Klein. I will say this, though. He is pretty well-rounded. He is experienced. He has fought a lot. And he's an exciting fighter, but I will say that the hometown underdog gets his hand raised in this fight, and I just think that he's just going to fight a little bit smarter. You don't want to engage and draw that counter from Ludovic, and I just think that he has to approach it, correctly, and I think he will. Like I said, I assume that this fight will stay standing. So for those reasons, I think there's more value in the dog than there is the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about how lengthier he is than Ludovic. The other thing too, like you mentioned that weight change, right? He was 145 here on both of these fights, and then he goes to 155 and wins both of them. But like you said, it seems like they're not pricing him properly. Harry, what are your thoughts on this one? Are you thinking the dog as well?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think a lot of people forget that going back to the Topuria fight, Jai Herbert had Ilya basically out of there in that first round. He landed the head kick, knocked him down, had Ilya hurt bad. Topuria is just Georgian, apparently not built from the same material that human beings are built from. But listen, Jai Herbert probably fired his manager, because if you go and look at his first 3-4 fights in the UFC, they booked him on a murderer's row. He was booked brutally to start his UFC campaign, but I think Pat nailed it, man. He's the bigger, longer guy fighting in his home country. He's fought better competition in the past. I think that this is much closer to a coin flip than it is to plus 170 for Jai Herbert. I think that's absolutely the value side. That's what I'll be playing.
I love it. All right, so we're seeing value there on Herbert. So once we get to the betting section, we'll probably get to it and see where we're at as far as what the line is. The best line we can get right here on this page, we're seeing plus 168 for Herbert. Let's move on to the next one. Pat, it is Hadley and Gordon. I think you had a good look on this one, if I'm not mistaken. So Hadley here, I mean, from a size perspective, they match up pretty well, but Hadley is the younger of the two fighters by, pretty big margin. I think it's 8 years. Yeah, there you go. 24 to 32 years old. Hadley 9-1. He did lose his UFC debut, but came back with a nice submission win over Candelario. Gordon 14-6. He's pretty well rounded, 5 KOs, 6 subs, but he's also got finished in all 6 of his fights as well. All 6 of his losses. Hadley is a pretty heavy favorite here. Are you looking towards the favorite or the dog in this one? I think you're on mute, bud. Pat, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, can you hear me
There
now?
you go. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't have a great look in this fight actually. I don't think Jake Hadley. This is the thing is that you're paying such a massive tax on him because he's a little bit of a hype train.
Yeah.
Misses weight on the Dana White Contender Series, gets a contract off of missed weight. I believe he's the first fighter to be signed to the UFC missing weight. So what the UFC wants to do with him. They want to prop him up. He is marketable. But minus 400 is just not a tax I'm willing to play. Maybe throw him in some parlays or something. I do think that he gets the job done, but Malcolm Gordon, he's been one of those guys who he wins as an underdog sometimes. And, if I expect this to be a grappling match, which I do think that there is going to be a point where Jake Hadley probably rocks him and jumps in Malcolm Gordon's guard. And I assume that he finishes a fight, but there are moments in that exchange that can get a little bit dicey. So, I'm not too interested in the fight from a numbers perspective. My prediction is going to be Jake Hadley. The method is going to be by TKO, but with these odds, I'm just going to lay off. I'm not really interested.
Yeah, Harry, thanks for popping back in here. I know hopefully things are working well. I was just talking about how Gordon has been finishing all 6 of his losses here. And Hadley is pretty much a heavy favorite in this one. Are you looking towards the favorite or the dog in this fight?
I hope my audio is a little bit better for those of you listening at home. I would lean. I do think Hadley is the significantly better fighter. I'm not very high on Gordon. He's fun. He had some nice upset wins, but I just don't rate his skill set that highly. I don't think there's anything he does exceptionally well. I think Hadley is going to have a pretty big advantage when it comes to the grappling here. I would be surprised to see Hadley able to get the back early, maybe finish this one with an RNC.
You think it early, like a first round one, or you think it gets past it?
It's tough with the flyweights, because I don't necessarily think that there's going to be a ton of power on side. I'm not sure I see a knockout happening, but I think if Hadley is able to get a hold of him, take the back early, or get it down early in the round, it's going to be a long night for Malcolm Gordon.
All right, let's move on to this next fight here. Christian Leroy Duncan, Dusko Todorovic. Leroy Duncan 7-0, the lengthier of the two fighters. 5 of his wins by KO. This is his UFC debut, though. Dusko is definitely the more experienced fighter by margin. I think even though he's just a couple years older, he's been KO'd twice in his 3 losses. Dusko fights have been finished inside the distance in 13 of his last 15 fights as well. This one, I was kind of looking towards, this ending inside the distance. I didn't look ahead to see what the line was, but it seems like it would be in that direction. Are you guys looking towards, the ITD here, or are you looking towards the side? Harry, let's start with you.
I like where your head's at. I think I like the under here fight to not go the distance. Christian Leroy Duncan is looking good, man. Undefeated Cage Warriors champion, lot of hype, very well regarded prospect, but it's always going to be really, really hard for me to back a debutante at that price, right? First fight UFC, the level of competition is obviously very, very different. So minus 20 just doesn't necessarily feel like the right price to me. I'm not sure I'm willing to lay chalk. And just go, look, he's had a tough run in the UFC so far, but he's the only guy to ever knock out Michel Pereira. He's got some good wins. He's got some tough losses. You never really know what you're going to get out of Dusko, who's going to show up. It's going to be a guy who looks like he'd beat anybody in the division, or a guy who looks like he has no business in the UFC. So I like the read there on the fight not to go a distance. I think both of these guys have finishing power, both knockout power. There's paths to victory inside the distance for both guys. I like where your head at already.
All right, Pat, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not gonna have a strong enough take for this fight. I do think that the line is appropriate and accurate. It's just that you're betting on an unknown and Duncan versus an inconsistency and Dusko. You don't really know which Dusko you're gonna get because he is talented, he is well rounded, but you know he's got tall man defense. He does slip up at times, and he doesn't fight with confidence. You know, in certain moments. So depends what Dusko shows up, but at the same time, I don't know, man. I don't know about Duncan making his debut and being a 2-1 favorite. I mean, I do see upside in him and promise, but I don't want to take away of what could possibly happen because Dusko's not like a slouch. Like he is well rounded. His wins are aging kind of horribly, but he is a well rounded fighter to say the least. So this is a pass fight for me. I have zero interest. I do think it ends inside the distance, but yeah, no bet.
All right, let's move on to the next fight here. Patterson and Ashmos here. I think where is it? So Patterson, yeah, Patterson is the pretty heavy favorite here, minus 265. This one, I mean, obviously the 6'4" compared to 5'9", it's huge height advantage there. Patterson 10-1-1. He did get the KO, did get KO'd in his only loss. Ashmos, his both is 6-0, both UFC debuts for the fighters here. Seems like a spot where Patterson should win the fight, but you guys talk about like odds being too wide? Is this one that's pretty in that same boat here, especially with both being in the UFC debuts? Harry, let's start with you.
Yeah, I hit the nail on that already. Like we were just talking about before, it's you know, I'm rarely going to advise somebody to like heavy chucking somebody's UFC debut, even if he's fighting another debutant. But you know, Patterson's got a 10-1-1 record. Record looks good, but if you go through and you look at some of the guys, the level of competition isn't great by any means. You know what I mean? You got a lot of guys in there who were, you know, records around 500. A couple guys early in his career with records that were upside down. He hasn't shown enough to where I can confidently pick him one way or the other, especially not at minus 265. I'm also going to be, of course, a little bit biased on Ashmos because he's a Jewish guy from the Northeast up here where I'm from. I got to see him fight live in the regional scene a couple of times. I saw him up at a Ring of Combat show in Atlantic City. He nuked one of my teammates, Armando Getcha, fucking bad. So Ashmos has power. He's pretty well rounded. Has a win on PFL Challenger Series. So you know, both of them have basically one good, decent level win. I just think that the price is way too wide. I think if you're gonna make play in like sprinkle Ashmos, it should basically be a coin flip, in my opinion. I think you're crazy if you're betting Patterson at those odds, but I can't fault anyone for laying off. I can't fault anyone for sprinkling the dog. I could not be brought to play Patterson here.
Yeah, Pat, what do you think? Are you looking towards the heavy favorite, or do you also think that this is wide?
Initially, yeah, I was kind of just blindly backing Sam Patterson, but you know, Harry kind of talked me into the dog in the spot. So there's a couple of things that I noticed with Sam Patterson. First of all, guillotine's not going to work forever. Secondly, is he's hittable. He has tall man defense, kind of like Dusko. He doesn't move his head, and I do think that that's going to be a problem as he's entering the UFC. I also look at the price tag, and I'm like, you know what? Why is he priced this way? Well, he's a England fighter, so you're paying the British tax, backing a hometown fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashmos, I do think that there are some advantages. You know, I do think that Sam Patterson can extend and get himself taken down. That's where fighters, generally his opponents want to take it, is because he's 6'4". He is a good striker, but I don't think that he is minus 200 good fighter. I think he's just, you know, decent, and I think that the price is just a little bit unfair. This is a dogger pass spot for me, but I'm not, you know, I just don't know what to think yet. You got two debutant fighters. One just happens to be super mispriced. So yeah, for me, I'm gonna go with Ashmos.
It seems kind of crazy just because, you know, with Ashmos here being so much shorter and his reach a lot, you know, obviously a lot shorter as well. He has 3 KOs right here in a row before he went into before the decision win here. Is his only path to victory? It seems like I don't know if he's going to get a KO with that big of a you know, reach gap, but can he sub him? Is that something that we would look at as far as like being a heavy dog here?
I like
Because
that read. He's got 2 career submission wins. He's finished with his 6 fights inside distance. Like Pat said, I think his best path to victory will probably be taking the fight to the ground against a taller, longer opponent. So I like where your head's at. I think betting by sub can probably get a easy price considering he's a plus 220 dog, whatever he is right now. So I imagine you could get a really good price on that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we'll look at it later in that section to see where the odds are. Let's go on to Shore and Amirkhani here. I think Jack Shore. I mean, from a prospect perspective, I mean, he's someone that Pat. We collect cards, and Jack Shore was someone that a lot of people wanted to pick up when Prism came out that year for his rookie card. I mean, is the hype worth it here? I mean, he's a pretty heavy favorite here, minus 485. Shore, obviously, like I said, bigger favorite, but he is the shorter of the 2 fighters. 16-1 record, going from bantam to feather here after his loss by submission to Ricky Simon. He has 6 subs under his belt as well. 17 and 8 for Amirkhani. 12 of his wins by sub as well. It seems like 2 grappling guys here. He's lost 6 of his last 8 fights in the UFC. The last 2 losses by KO. I mean, this is Shore should win this one, right? But I mean, probably inside the distance, or what are you thinking on this one, Pat?
Yeah, I think Shore's probably going to get it done inside the distance. He's going to have to weather an early round 1 because that is Amirkhani's win condition is 5 minutes of grappling pressure, takedown attempts, but he just falls off a cliff as soon as round 2 hits.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually doing really well against Lerone Murphy, I believe it was. He was doing well against him, and then Lerone just knocked him out. He got a nasty knee in there, and, it was a good finish for Lerone, but we're going to talk about that fight in a minute because there's something with Lerone that I just am not so set on. But going back to this fight, Amirkhani, he did have success in that fight, but he just gasses himself out. He beats himself. That's the thing. Now, Jack Shore, he's cool, calm, composed, collected, but at minus 500, I just don't know that I really want to touch this fight. I do think TKO is live. I think sub is live. I even think decision is live, to be honest, because he's going up a weight class. And he's not much of a finishing threat, to be honest with you, at least at the UFC level. And I don't know. I don't really know what to think of this. I think maybe throw Jack Shore in parlays or play Amirkhani by sub in round 1 because that's his only win condition. But yeah, I'm not interested. I'm passing this fight completely.
Harry, what do you think?
I think it's boring, but I think I'm gonna have to agree with Pat here. Once again, I don't necessarily see a good angle to bet this fight. I was very, very high on Jack Shore. I still am high on Jack Shore, but I was at UFC Long Island when he fought Ricky Simon. I was all over to Shore in that fight. I thought that was his fight to lose. Obviously, didn't wind up working that way. He did wind up losing that fight, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Amirkhani is just kind of, he's a guy, right? He's a gatekeeper. I feel like he's kind of hung around forever. He's got some good wins. He's got some tough losses. He's fought a lot of very good competition over the years, generally losing when he takes big steps up in competition. So, no, I don't necessarily really see a path to victory against Tank. I don't know. I think Tank would probably be – I think Tank inside distance would probably be better if I were to make one, but I'm going to lay off here.
Yeah. I think maybe we'll see what the lines are, and when we get to that point, let's go. Did you say, Pat, you wanted to talk about the Lerone Murphy fight?
I don't know if you have it listed or not. That's just something that I'm personally looking at. But
yeah, let's just add that on here. Let's go to it right now. So we got Lerone Murphy and Gabriel Santos here. Murphy, the minus 165 favorite here. This is, I was looking at this one because both of them were but obviously undefeated here. This is a tough fight for me. That's the reason why I didn't add it on here. I didn't have anything, but if you do, go ahead and talk to the people about it.
I think this is dog or pass completely. I think that this is mispriced. I think, again, you're paying a tax on Lerone Murphy. A lot of people consider this a discount, actually. They're like, oh, you're getting discount on undefeated Lerone Murphy? Nope. Amirkhani had the most success Amirkhani had in the UFC was against Lerone Murphy. Amirkhani is a horrible fighter. Gabriel Santos, I like his upside. I like his momentum. I like his heart. Sure, he got caught in the Dana White Contender Series, but When you look back at the Dana White Contender Series, what do those people fight for? They fight for contracts. So of course they're going to have to make it exciting, and they got to do stuff that is out of their comfort zone. You don't want to just win a boring decision and not get signed. You have to make it exciting, and that's what Gabriel Santos did. I think Gabriel Santos is the right side. You can wait till this line widens, but I might be higher on him than I am Lerone. Let's also not forget Lerone Murphy is off a massive accident. This is his first fight back from a major injury. A little bit longer of a layoff as well. He was supposed to fight, and he was training for God, I forgot the guy's name. Nathaniel Wood, sorry. So he was already ready for this. What I don't like is Gabriel Santos is a short notice replacement, but he's game. I like this guy. LFA champ, he's solid, man. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna back the dog here. I like Gabriel to get it done, and I will look to be playing him as his UFC career goes on.
You mentioned like the short notice here for Gabriel Santos, but he just fought in January, so you would think that he wouldn't be out of condition, that quickly. So he might be already kind of be fight ready, right? I mean, would you think that, or is that 2 month span kind of put him in position to have to get back into fight ready?
Yeah, see, I mean that's also possible. So I messed up. I don't think that he was the fighter I was talking about from the Dana White. That's Duncan, who I guess we'll be talking about. But yeah, Duncan is one of those comeback fighters. Anyways,
fuck that guy.
Yeah, I don't like him either. But yeah, I like the upside for just Gabriel overall. I don't know how he's going to get it done. I don't even know if he will get it done. But I will say that I do think Lerone Murphy is being a little bit taxed in the spot. Minus 110 is a fair price, especially for a guy coming off of a major and massive injury. And then fighting LFA champ, who he's got some savage skills, man. So I think overall it'll be a good fight, but I just think that there's more value in the dog.
Harry, do you have anything on this one?
I feel like we're boring everybody here today, but I agree with Pat once again. This is I don't like this. This is fucked up. But
it's weird,
I agree,
right?
Man. Lerone Murphy is kind of guy everybody's hyped up on. He's the new hot prospect right now. He's the hometown guy out there in London. But Gabriel Santos is no fucking joke, man. That kid can scrap. That kid is legit. He's fought pretty decent competition. So I agree. I think this is dog or pass. You either take Santos or you stay away.
Yeah, and he's still really young too. He's only going to get better. So I gotta go. I gotta go that direction. Sorry, Lerone, but I'm just. I understand. I understand the hype to an extent, but not really. I don't really get it. He hasn't been a guy I've really been that high on. There's another prospect on this card named Casey who I'm just not that high on. But
we'll talk about that one soon. All right, that next one we got Vettori and Dolidze here. Let me bring up the screen. Vettori, Dolidze. What's the line at now? Vettori is still the heavy favorite, minus 243. Dolidze plus 235 here. Dolidze, the bigger fighter here, but we know Vettori got a chin. Vettori 18-6-1, all 6 losses by decision here. Dolidze 7 of his 12 wins by KO. But like I mentioned, Vettori got a chin here. Like, are we gonna see Vettori get knocked out by Dolidze here, or is this gonna go down to the wire, go the distance, and see who really that's kind of the way. Initially, I was looking at inside the distance, but man, just watching some of the Vettori fights, I don't know if he's ever gonna get knocked out. There's times where he got popped in the face and he smiles right after, like it was like a brush off his shoulder, basically. Man, as much as I wanted to get inside the distance, maybe this one goes the distance. But who do you think wins this one? Is the line wide here, Pat? What do you think?
Way too wide. Way too wide. Look, I like Vettori too, but Roman Dolidze is a guy that you've lost a lot of money fading. He's been a dog. He's been a cash cow. This is the other mispriced fighter I was talking about. We got Calvin Klein, Ludovic Klein, and we got Roman Dolidze, the most mispriced fighters on this card, man. Roman Dolidze is a savage, and until people understand that, they're going to continue to fade him, and you're going to continue to lose money. dog win, dog win, dog win. Like that's what this guy does. Now, a couple of his fights aren't so impressive. You know, the Staropoli, not impressive. The Trevin Giles loss, I think he actually won that fight. But that was also, it was middleweight. I thought that was welterweight. But, you know, he is a guy who I just, you know, it's his IQ at certain times. It could be his cardio at certain times. But I think he's putting it all together, and I think he's on this run right now. He has been training at Extreme Couture as well. They've gotten some sparring sessions in together. So, which is kind of weird, right? Like you've sparred and gone to the same camp as your opponent. I don't know how I feel about that, but I do think that I think the right side is Roman in this spot. He has the finishing upside. I do think that he can also have the bigger moments in this fight that could honestly win a decision too. I don't think that he's as chinny as people make it seem, but I will say that there is another mispriced prop on this fight, and it's Vettori to win in round 3. If you are worried about Delidze's gas tank, you can get him in round 3 for I think like plus 3,000. That's not a bad sprinkle, to be honest. It's a good hedge, but overall, I do think Delidze is the right side at the odds because he will welcome takedowns. He will welcome that clench that Vettori so loves, and this guy is 80cc grappling champion. He's nasty. Roman Delidze is nasty, and I think that he's only going to get better. And you know, I don't know. I just think that he's the right side in this fight. I'm not that high on Vettori to be. I'm high on him, but just the way that
you don't have to
fight
correct yourself. It's okay to not be high on Marvin Vettori.
Yeah, well, no. Like he's been top 5 for the past 5 years. You know, what I like about Roman is he gets his win. He calls out Khamzat Chimaev. This guy's not scared. He's ruthless. He doesn't fear anybody. So he's not going to go in there and fear Vettori. He's going to fight to his price tag, and I like it, you know. But
are you worried?
Vettori,
Real quick, Pat, are you worried? You know, we talk about like public dogs, and he seems like to be that guy here in this spot. I think from what I heard, a lot of people are on Roman as well. Any thoughts on that, or I mean, are you kind of just with them?
The public dog.
We have gotten bit by a few public dogs this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that I worry about. I mean, I get everything that you're saying, but it does seem like that spot where it is the public dog here.
Yeah, actually, you're right. He is the public dog. Yeah, I don't know. I see 70% of the handle actually on Roman. It's a little bit scary, but
That's heavy, yeah.
At plus 250, count me in that 70% that agrees. Like, I have to,
it's
man.
the bet.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Harry? You want to add on to that?
It's a bet, man. There's too much agreement today, which is usually terrible side, but Roman is bet. Vegas is racist against Georgian people. Clearly, this line is way too wide. Like we made all of the points. Vittori's got a granite fucking chin. We know that.
Yeah.
I think Vettori being a top 5 contender at middleweight for the last couple of years is much more reflection of how bad and shallow 185 is as a division than it is of how good Vettori is as a fighter. He's very one-dimensional. You know, it's kind of wrestling pressure, and that's it. He's not really great at doing anything with it. And as Pat pointed out, Roman isn't scared to fight off his back. So Vittori's path to victory is usually top control, wrestling, top pressure, keep you down, hold you down, do just enough damage to stay there, right? With Roman, he's so scrambly, he's so good at attacking from the back, from the bottom, creating sweeps, creating attempts for submission. So I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Delidze almost concede a takedown if Marvin shoots, almost just kind of let it go to the back and get into his full guard and then just start throwing stuff up, start throwing up arm bars, start throwing up knee bars and heel hook and attacking the legs. I think Delidze is the bet straight up, absolutely at plus 230, whatever the price is right now. The sprinkle that I would advise people to make is Delidze by sub. I think Delidze is able to. I think Marvin is going to get cocky here. He's going to get comfortable with the position. He'll just take one mistake, man. He just has to let his guard down for 1 second for Delidze to snatch up an arm, snatch up a triangle, or snatch up leg, whatever it may be. I mean, we saw what he did to Phil Hawes, absolutely shredded that knee. That fight should have been stopped before Hawes got brutally knocked out. So I think Delidze by sub is the play here. I think that's how it goes. A little concerned about the public dog aspect, but sometimes you just got to go with your gut. And I'm always going to be fine going with like gut when it's a plus 230 underdog over a 2-1 favorite.
I like it. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm
Good.
right there with Harry. I also want to talk about you got minute winning versus moment winning. You're fighting at the O2 Arena. The moment winning is going to win this time. This isn't UFC Vegas. This isn't Apex. This is fan fighting in an O2 Arena crowd. Marvin Vettori is not a people pleaser. This guy is I'm going to push you up against the cage for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Roman. Roman.
Roman. All right. Well, we'll see the odds when we get there. Jennifer Maya and Casey O'Neill is the next one here. Pat, you talked about Casey O'Neill here and kind of being overvalued. She is coming off of that long layoff due to the injury. She's 9-0, but really hasn't fought any big names here. Maya 29-1. The shorter of the two fighters, her reach is 5 inches shorter than O'Neill, but the experience, the fighters that she's faced, it seems like the strength of schedule is on her side here. I mean, upside maybe Casey O'Neill, Jennifer Maya kind of being the older fighter here, but in this one, Casey O'Neill first fight back after the injury. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, first fight back after an injury. It's been a little bit over a year since we last saw her. She had a split decision against Roxanne. That's like red flag number one. Congrats for beating the bad Shevchenko. That's cute. Lara Procopia, that was an interesting fight because Lara, I'm actually a little bit high on. It was sad to see her be cut from the UFC. And then she has a win over Shanna Dobson. That's her UFC career. Shanna Dobson might arguably be one of the worst female fighters that we've ever seen. So she's been spoon-fed. She has been spoon-fed. Now, Jennifer Maya, I think she's underrated. Like she is not a horrible striker. She can strike. She can kick. She welcomes pressure. And that's whenever she looks to get into counter grappling exchanges. And I think Casey O'Neill kind of does the same thing. She likes to pressure her fighters and get into those scrambly exchanges. What I will say is this, I do think you're right in the fact that I think Casey O'Neill will have the upside, the career upside. She's still young. She trains out of Extreme Couture. She's done some camps at Tiger Muay Thai. Those are great camps to be a part of. I just think that this is a step up. Jennifer Maya is not a slouch. She's not like a scrub. You're going from Roxanne Modafferi to Jennifer Maya after a year layoff, after an ACL injury, a split decision to Roxanne Modafferi. I don't know. Just a lot of red flags here. I kind of like Jennifer Maya at the price tag. If I'm the odds makers, this is minus 110. I am high on Casey O'Neill, but not minus 170 or whatever she is high.
Yeah.
I just think that there is a little bit, again, you're paying that hometown tax. I believe she's Scottish. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think she's Scottish or from Australia. But she is. I just overall, I would have to side with Maya for the upset. I mean, plus 150. It's Dogger Pass, women's MMA. Yeah, sign me up for Maya. I do think O'Neill will have like a bright future, but if we're sizing her or if we're matching her up against the top five, I don't know how well she fares against the top five. So, and that's where people are placing her right now. They're like, oh yeah, it's going to be champ one day. I'm sure you remember the time when her Panini cards were going crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
I
don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did sell a few of her of the what do you call it, the chrome refractors or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
The prisms, sorry, the silver prisms at the time when they first came out, because they don't typically sell well. The women's MMA cards, they don't really typically sell well, but hers did for a bit.
Hers were selling pretty well.
Hers are selling pretty well. The thing about this fight here, it kind of I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but just matchup wise, it almost reminds me of Blanchfield and Valence Shevchenko, just like the age range, like someone that's super hyped versus someone that has a lot of experience on the field here, and maybe they match this fight on purpose to kind of bring her up here, but I think Blanchfield is like a different level than O'Neill at this point, especially since coming off an injury. But I'm just thinking that the thought process of making this match was probably in that same area. That's the only thing that scares me, is that I think they matched this so that Casey O'Neill could probably win a fight coming back. I don't know where Harry went, but hopefully he's trying to fix his internet right now, because he's been pretty choppy during the show. But hopefully we get him back. Let's move on to the next one, and then we'll see when he pops back in here. Gunnar Nelson and Barbarina here. I'm not gonna lie. Initially, I did send you guys that I was looking towards Barbarina at this number because he has that puncher's chance, right? He's at plus, what is it, plus 300, or let me bring it up here, plus 310. Someone that can get a KO, kind of like, I wouldn't say whenever he wants, but he has that punching power to just take someone out with one punch here. 12 of his 18 wins, sorry, not 12 of his 18 wins, 11 of his 18 wins have been by KO. And at plus 300, that's kind of where I was going in that direction. But Nelson, I mean, he's the heavy favorite here. Barbarina taking this in short notice. Nelson 18-5-1, 12 of his 18 wins by submission here. And then Barbarina is coming off of a loss by sub. So I don't know, man. It's that balance here where I'm trying to figure out that the, what is that called? How wide the line is compared to, someone's path to victory, right? I'm still trying to learn that, and that's where I'm kind of leaning on you guys to kind of give me that the breakdowns, listen to your guys' breakdowns and figure out where that balance is. But yeah, initially I was looking towards Barbarina because of those things, but you guys were kind of talking me into Nelson here. What Pat, talk about it here. What do you think?
This is tough, man. Like, I don't agree with the number on Nelson. Nelson's a fighter who he's not really that active. I think his last fight against Takashi Sato was a massive step down in competition. This is a guy who fought Leon, Ponzinibbio. He just has that resume. Sure, he's lost it, but those are some hell of a names to have on your resume.
Yeah.
The thing is Gunnar Nelson, he's going to have that grappling. He's going to have that wrestling, the back takes. He's going to have all that, and it's going to be open because Brian Barberena does not defend takedowns. I don't even know if he comes from a camp or if he still trains out of his gym. Like, this guy doesn't really – he shows up for a paycheck. He's an exciting fighter, but he's not, he's
Barberena's a Jim Joe in North Carolina.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. He's a prize fighter. He's a paycheck fighter. He's not really in there for anything else other than that. He makes fights entertaining for sure. But I think Gunnar Nelson probably has him covered. I mean, I wanted to find a reason to back him, Barberena, but I can't, man. I see a lot of like what RDA did. RDA was a massive favorite, and I think Gunnar Nelson can mimic exactly what RDA did. So I don't know, man. This is a pass of a fight. I wish you luck, but I think Gunnar Nelson is probably a parlay piece.
Yeah, I'm not betting it, but just initial thoughts is it seemed like someone with a puncher's chance shouldn't be in that range as far as the odds goes. But I mean, Gunnar Nelson looks like he's ready. He was already ready. He obviously, Barberena being on short notice kind of puts him at a disadvantage already. But Harry, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's part of me, there's a little voice in the back of my head that's telling me, just do it. Bet Bam Bam. Just take a little sprinkle on Barberena and let's have some fucking fun here. But I mean, in reality, you're probably right. Gunny's got the skill set to kind of mimic the RDA game plan, kind of just pressure wrestling, get on top. Most likely he'll be able to find a sub. Barberena's ground game is definitely nothing special. But listen, if Barberena is able to keep it on the feet, Gunner's an older guy who's taken some shots over the years, so it only takes one. He's got the classic puncher's chance. I know it's a lazy trope, it's lazy analysis, but I don't know. I don't think Gunner at that price of our parlay piece even is really worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're gonna take something here, maybe you sprinkle the under, maybe you sprinkle Bam Bam, but there's nothing super intriguing here to me.
Yeah, the other thing too, if you look at Barberena's been a lot more active than Gunnar Nelson, right? Because I'm looking at his fight history here. 2019 against Gilbert Burns, 2019 against Leon Edwards, both losses. Comes back in 2022, March, basically last year, one whole year ago. That's his only fight since then. So within a 4-year span, 3.5-year span, this is only his second fight. I mean, do you think, I don't know, maybe we're just wasting time on this one, but I'm probably just trying to talk myself into playing this big money plus money. That's probably what it is. But
We've all been there.
Yeah. Let's move on to the co-main event here. This one is the fire fight of the evening. I feel like Gaethje versus Fiziev. The Gaethje is taller of the two fighters. Somehow Fiziev has a longer reach though by a slim margin. 23-4. Gaethje is. He's lost 2 of his last 3 fights, both by sub. 19 of his 23 fights by KO. Fiziev 12-1. 8 of his wins by KO. Guys, this one I don't think either any of us are gonna think this is gonna last past. Definitely, I don't know if it's gonna pass the first round. I'm not even sure, but likely gonna end in a KO by someone. But who is it gonna be? Harry, let's start with you here.
So what's the line on the total right now? Because we might have the rare 155-pound reverse ring over here.
Let's look at it.
I'm just curious.
So the
Over
over
1.5 minus 180. That's no fun. That's no fun. All right, whatever. So scratch that. It's no reverse brain over. That's not fun enough for me. But it brings me back to the Chandler Gaethje fight, right? Where everybody said there's no fucking way this one gets to the judges. There's no way these guys don't knock each other out, finish each other. And lo and behold, we got 15 minutes of incredible violence, and we went to the judges. This is probably the fight I'm most looking forward to on the card. Like, obviously, Leon Usman is fucking awesome, but just purely from a fan's perspective, you couldn't ask for better booking than Fizzy and Gaethje. That is just mwah, chef's kiss, perfect booking. 2 guys who go out there and throw fucking bombs at each other, rarely go the distance. I will say I was very surprised at how wide this price is. I was not expecting Fizzy to be a minus 225 favorite. That feels really, really wide to me. I would have said I don't necessarily have a problem with Fizzy being a favorite just based on recent form, but I would have guessed, like, gun to my head, I would have guessed minus 140, minus 150 at the most. So as much I love both of these guys, I really do. I enjoy watching both of these guys so much, but at the price, I honestly feel like Gaethje is almost must bet.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Oh,
Oh,
hello.
there you are. There you go. There you go.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm saying at price, I feel like Gaethje is almost must bet.
At the plus 200 price, right? Yeah. Pat, what do you think here?
Man, what a fight. I mean,
I already know you're a Fiziev fan. You just posted your golds. So
you know it, man. I love Fiziev. I like him because I feel like he can, of the lightweights, I think him and Armin are the ones that could give Islam the biggest threat in the lightweight division. But man, dude, I don't know. Justin Gaethje is like, I think the odds are disrespectful. I'm with Harry on that. You know, I don't price Fiziev, that high. I think minus 150 was a little bit more fair. But we got technical striking versus technical brawler. Justin Gaethje, amazing at calf kicks, and I think he's going to have a hard time catching Gaethje though. I mean, Fiziev though, because Fiziev uses a lot of lateral movement. He moves in and out. This guy's striking is, I honestly will say, pound for pound, probably the best in the UFC. I mean, he is so timed. He's so calculated. He's fun, man. He's fun. He's a really, really fun fighter. Now, there was concerns early in his career, like, oh, this guy doesn't have cardio. He doesn't have a gas tank. Well, he goes out there and beats RDA in round 5. So for not having cardio and gas tank, that's impressive to get a finish in round 5. Everyone was thinking if it got, to round 4 or 5, that RDA was going to win a decision. I don't even think he was on his way to winning decision. I think he was losing 49-46 or something like that up until the point. But, I think that Fiziev just presents a little bit more challenges for Justin Gaethje. Gaethje is fighting people who will fight with him in the pocket. Like Chandler, he fights like an idiot. Let's be honest. I mean, the guy is powerful, but he gets in firefights on purpose. He's another one of those guys where we talk about prize fighting. He's there for a paycheck. He's not really serious about competing for the belt. He's just there. He's entertainment.
yeah.
I don't think Chandler's ever fought on nothing other than a pay-per-views. So, this guy, they know what they're doing with Chandler. Same thing with Gaethje, though. They know what they're doing with Gaethje. They're going to put him in some fun fights. But, what I will say is Fiziev is not afraid of Gaethje. He actually called out Chandler and Gaethje. So he's been ready for this fight. He's been ready for this moment. My prediction is going to be Fiziev. It's not going to change. I think that the price is a little bit off. I think Gaethje, training at elevation, training with Trevor Whitman, his striking is always there. He has more IQ than what the eye can see. Because then, the eye test shows you that he's just a brawler, Homer Simpson, move forward. But he is actually pretty smart. He is timed, he's calculated. But you got that versus a head coach at Tiger Muay Thai. This guy's training some of your favorite fighters every single day. Like Fiziev he's that guy, man. I got to go with Fiziev. But as far as the totals, I mean, I think that this fight has a good shot at going the distance. I think we might see a split decision fight of the year kind of a fight. Yeah, I really do. I don't think
the lightweight reverse ain't over.
Yeah, Gaethje's a performance machine, man. This guy is a bonus machine. He's never had a fight that hasn't earned him at least $50K. That's just bonus money. Him and Adrian Yanez, who we had last week.
Yes, sir.
Some of the only fighters to have a bonus every single fight. That's wild. I think this is another one of those fights.
What's crazy about Gaethje is his background in wrestling, but that he doesn't use. Like it's just so interesting. It's just so interesting to me that he has such an advantage in that aspect too against most of his fighters, but I just never seen it, especially
right. And so I wanted to talk about that too. So let's
go ahead.
Really quick. Yeah, he has wrestling background. You saw glimpses of it against Chandler. But what I will say is Fiziev is not easy to take down. RDA might have been fortunate on like a couple, but he denies most takedown attempts. Fiziev I don't think there's going to be a wrestling fight. And I think if it does, that's going to be, in Fiziev's world. As long as it's in the clinch, I think Gaethje's going to eat knees and all that. I don't think he's going to look to wrestle here. That's why I think it's going to go the distance. Both fighters are going to be timed and calculated. They're not going to overextend and put themselves in compromising positions to lose. I think that is part of the reason why I was thinking that the over will probably cash. But I don't have a strong enough take on the total. Or the side at this price. But yeah, this fight is definitely a must-see TV for sure.
That's interesting. We'll see if we get into a bet on this one. Let's move on to the main event. Edwards Usman 3. Move to this here. Edwards Usman 3. Similar in size. Usman still with the longer reach, obviously. 20-2, the heavy favorite as the challenger here. Edwards never been finished. This one is tough here. I think one thing we know is I think one thing that I'm thinking about is Usman. Do you think that he becomes hesitant after being KO'd? Obviously, he was winning that fight before he got KO'd, right? Does that make him think a little bit differently coming into this fight that Edwards has that knockout potential and he's going to be a lot more hesitant? And if it does go the distance, gives Edwards some confidence in actually winning in a decision. That's just things that I kind of thought about after someone being so, someone so dominant in their weight class and in their sport, and then getting knocked out of nowhere, right? I think that kind of hits his confidence there. What is your thought, Pat?
So yeah, Harry was talking about this one, and he said there's a possibility that we saw a worse version of Leon Edwards that Usman fought in the second fight, and I couldn't agree more. He didn't look that great. He won the fight, yeah. But Leon, generally speaking, great takedown defense. There was even a moment in round 1 where he took down Usman himself. He reversed that clinch and took him down. Mm-hmm. There was a lot to take away from that fight. Also, let's not forget, that fight was at elevation. Leon has never fought at elevation. That was his first time. So to win in round 5, he was tired. He was gassed. The clinching was not working in his favor. Guess who we get this week? And we get C-level Leon. C-level Leon is going to be different. He's not going to have to worry about that, getting extra oxygen in your lungs. He's just going to have to worry about going out there and fighting like he does. I think he's a talented striker. He's calculated. But there is a possibility that this fight is boring. And that's only because Usman, I don't think he's going to put himself in those positions to get knocked out.
Yep.
I think he's going to cage clench a lot of the time. But I think that could also get him countered again in the later rounds. So this is
Leon
really kind of a tough fight.
On the clinch break, man. Leon did a really, really nice elbow over the top on clinch breaks.
He has nasty elbows, exactly. But I do think that there is more value in the dog here than there is the favorite. Also, there's just outside noise going on for Usman. Knees are bad. He's had some medical layoffs. He started African fight league. It's called African TKO, I believe. So his mindset is in other ventures. He's actually looking at establishing like an arena, a venue for a UFC event to go to Africa. So his mind is elsewhere. He's more business related at this point. I don't know if I don't know. That's just, again, that's conspiracy capping. There's not really any, there's no real narrative to that. It's just, that's facts. That's what he's doing now. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what to think of this fight. I like Leon at the price, but there's also a shot that this could be a accurately priced number. You don't have to bet every single fight.
Yeah, no, I got you. Real quick, my boy Max Grillo here. This is the guy that I was talking to you guys about. This is Marvin Vittori's homie. So maybe he can drop some information in the comments to see if how ready is Vittori for this fight with Dolidze. It's gonna be a tough one, but Harry, what are your thoughts on this Edwards Usman one?
Yeah, man. Like Pat said, I think personally that we saw basically the worst version of Leon Edwards in the second fight in Salt Lake City at altitude. I personally think this fight, the entire fight, will much more closely resemble the first round of the last fight than it will the rest of the fight. Right? Leon looked late in the first round. Striking was sharp. Took Usman down. Got him into the mount. I mean, the value, in my opinion, is all on Leon. It's all on Leon because Usman came out and fought his best fight and lost, right? So I think there's still so much more room for adjustments and improvement on Leon's side of things as opposed to Usman's side. Couple that with the fact that Usman's getting older, the knees aren't holding up great. We hear all of this shit. And then, like Pat said, he's in fucking Black Panther. He's in movies now. Like, he got enough money that he doesn't necessarily.
Oh no, did we lose him?
We lost.
Well, yeah,
him.
yeah.
God damn it, Harry.
Fix your internet, Harry. But I think basically what he was trying to get at was I think that Usman at 34, 35 or whatever he is at right now, it almost seems like he's getting past his prime and he knows it. While Edwards at being at 31, he's just getting there. I think that 31 to 33 range is where his prime is, and now he's fighting these top level opponents and learning and getting better. And yeah, man, I think what you said, Pat, earlier about Usman kind of doing a lot more cage clinching and being more reserved in this fight, that kind of answers my question about what do you guys think about him being more hesitant after getting knocked out. I think that answers that question. It's gonna be crazy. I think I am with you guys. I think Edwards is the side here at the plus money. He is the champion. Getting a champion at plus money. I mean, I think we got to look at that, Pat, because we got SDQL now, but we gotta be able to research how dogs do in these situations. The champions as dogs in this situation. How often do they win? Yeah, I think that's something
we got to look at that.
Yeah, exactly.
But another thing that I will say is we going into these fights and we have to understand moment winning versus minute winning. The moment winning is going to be different at the O2 Arena compared to fighting at the Apex. And also let's not forget when Usman clinches and he's not doing anything, like any damage, they get separated. They want to see some action, especially on a pay-per-view card. So there's a possibility that we have a ref where they just separate it, So
yeah.
I'm the most punished man alive.
God.
world's most punished man needs to fight the internet company. God damn it. Fuck you, Optimum. You hear me? Fuck you, Altice. Fuck you, Optimum. I pay $80 a month for this stupid fucking bullshit. God damn it.
Sorry, Harry.
You
like Leon?
I was mid train of thought. I lost now. Yes.
Leon.
I like Leon. Fucking. I had my whole spiel. Now it's gone. Fucking goddamn it. Fuck you, Optimum. But yes, as I was saying, much more room for Leon to make adjustments and improvements off the second fight than there is for Usman. I think they're two guys trending in opposite directions career-wise right now. Leon is the pick. Simple.
Real quick, yeah. We were actually, we knew we were going in that direction, but I was trying to finish what I thought you were gonna say. Real quick, Max Grillo said he talked to Vittori yesterday. Seems like Vittori is confident in this fight. But one thing that Max mentions is, you know, as long as Marvin doesn't give Dolidze a clear opportunity for some crazy submission, that's exactly what Harry said. He said there's opportunity for that for Marvin to kind of put himself in bad position. So you kind of called that out, Max. There's opportunity there. But
Marvin's got to fight smart. He's got to fight
he got to
smart,
fight
which has
smart.
not been
Exactly.
his forte in past necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, hey, you know what? That's all the fights that we got going on. Let's go to the section where we talk about the bets here. So the official bets. This is where we try to make our money, guys. This is where we try to make our money. So, like I said, this is on the season we're up 6.7 units through 2023, 15 and 16 and 1 our record, but we got that plus 211, and that's the reason why we're plus money here. Let's go to the odds page and get our fights going. All right, so first one that we talked about was Jai Herbert and sorry, my bad. Bring that up. Jai Herbert and Ludovic Klein. I think we were all aligned here on Herbert, if I'm not mistaken. Do we want to take the plus money here on the money line?
I say
I think
yes.
so. And this is, I don't have a strong opinion on the method because Jai Herbert can win a decision, especially if this is technical kickboxing.
Yeah.
He can. So, yeah, give me Jai Herbert just outright. Max Grillo, I appreciate you coming in the chat. That was badass insight, my brother. Have a good rest of your day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, appreciate you.
So Jai Herbert on the money line here. We can get plus 168 over at Bet Online. What do you think? Full unit here on this one or
Full send, baby. Full
full send?
send. Especially on an all alignment. Plus 168 is way too generous. You have to do it.
Let's do it.
Bet Online is also the best book to bet MMA. So this is not a sponsored, announcement. It's just it is
No
what it
free
is.
ads.
Maybe it should be. Let's get
No free ads.
Yeah.
all
back up age.
right. So next one that we talked about, Hadley and Gordon. I think we were saying that this should be Hadley's fight, but the odds, the line
Yeah,
was
I
just a
get
little bit too wide, right? I mean, what are we looking at here?
You
I
could
got
two pick
nothing
parlay
there.
him, but I'm not interested. I'm gonna pass on this one.
Same
What do you
here.
think, Harry? Let's skip on this one.
I'm in the same boat. Maybe if anything, you can use Hadley inside the distance as a parlay piece. I don't hate Hadley by sub, but no, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
Disgusting.
the only thing that I was looking at too. Hadley ITD. So if we see the odds and something that we maybe want to put a parlay out with, then we'll come back to it. But other than that, we'll just skip it. So the next one was Christian Leroy, Duncan, and then Dusko Todorovic here. I think we were looking towards inside the distance for the most part. Um, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we let's look at the line here.
Wow,
Fight ends
fight
inside. God,
minus
minus
400.
400.
You
Jeez.
see that, okay, that minus 400 with Jake Hadley, I would probably agree with, but minus 400 on its own, probably not. I'll have to pass on that.
Yeah,
Let's
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like that.
I'm with Harry.
I'm just gonna write that down. All right, so we have Hadley moneyline minus 400, Todorovic and Duncan ITD minus 400. We'll see. We'll see if what kind of line we can get with it.
I've never been a huge fan of like the big chalk parlay in MMA.
Me
You know
either.
what I
Me either,
mean?
Harry.
Like,
I'm right there with you.
Throw it 3 or 4 big ass lines in to try to get to like even.
Yeah, everybody you had
plus money.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody had Shevchenko the other week.
Right.
And
Exactly.
look what happened.
Every week we hear about one fighter or one line blows up everybody's big parlay. You know what I mean? So I've never been a fan of the parlay a bunch of big favorites in MMA strategy. It's such a high variance sport. There's so much volatility. Like I personally feel like you can just find better value elsewhere.
Yep. All right. So the next one that we talked about, I think it was Lerone Murphy and Gabriel Santos. I didn't originally have it, but Pat, you were liking the dog here. I think Harry, you like the dog here too, right?
I think it's the play. Maybe I wouldn't throw a full unit on it, but I think Santos is absolutely the value side for sure. I'll definitely be sprinkling like a half unit.
Yeah, I think 3/4 would be fair for show purposes, but yeah, full unit. I mean, maybe a little bit iffy with the debuting fighter, but
Right.
he will win. He will
Yeah.
win.
Yes, sir.
I do. Okay, let's go 3/4 here on this one. 3/4
I
here.
like that. I like that. And listen, part of why our ROI is where it's at right now with 15 and 16 and 1 record is bankroll management, right? I feel like we've done a very good job of outside of throwdown picking our
Yeah,
spots
yeah, yeah.
where we're
That
gonna
was
go big
fucked
and
up.
where we're
Yeah.
gonna tone it down a little bit. I feel like we've done a very good job of bankroll management on this show.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, let's move on to Patterson and Ashmos here. Plus
I
230, plus
personally
235.
I'm gonna sprinkle Ashmos plus 230 personally, but I don't fault anyone who just doesn't want to touch this.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm right there with Harry. I just see some holes, but this is going to be a 0.5 unit stab. It's not going to be a full send for me, just because
For
I do
sure.
think Sam Patterson does have physical advantages. But I also think that there are some IQ advantages that could be, exposed. So half unit for me, nothing overly confident. So that's how I feel.
Wasn't this the one that we were thinking about possibly his path to victory is by sub?
Ashmos,
Do,
yeah.
do we want to let me see if there's a line fight ends by sub? No, that's minus 255. Ashmos inside the distance plus 400 by decision TKO. By sub here is plus 800.
Got a plus 1100 at
What the fuck
FanDuel
is this? Plus
Plus
1100. Oh,
1100 at FanDuel.
hey
or
man, do you want to
DraftKings.
try this out?
Honestly,
I
I would throw a half unit on Ashmos straight up and then throw like 10 bucks on that plus 1100 like we did
Yeah,
with
the
Lipsy.
the 110. Yeah, the 10th.
I'm right there with Harry. I align.
Okay,
That's
so let's do.
that sounds generous.
Let it
Alright,
ride.
all right, so we're gonna wait. So what? A 10th of a unit on the Ashmo submission, and then a half unit on the money line, right?
Yes,
I
sir.
just
Yeah.
make sure we get that right. All right, let's do it. I like it. 50, 50 there, and then we'll go 10 on sub. I like it. I hope that one cashes actually. All right, let's go.
1100 is generous for a guy who only looks for guillotine. There's a spot where we get a half guard kind of a arm triangle choke. I like it. I can already see it.
Let's make it happen.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, Jack Shore and Amarkani here. This one, I think we were like,
I'm
it was
passing.
either two-way, right? It was Shore ITD or Amarkani first round sub. Basically, was what you were saying. But it seems like maybe we just passed this one based on the line, or what do you think?
Yeah,
I think we pass here. I'm honestly looking
Okay.
at it. If I like to go to distance at plus 145, doesn't feel like a terrible play to me, but I'm probably gonna pass on this one and just root for Tank.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right, let's pass on that one. All right, so Casey O'Neill, Maya. I think Pat, you're on Maya here. Harry, what do you think? Are you with Maya as well? I forgot what you wanted in this
I
one.
don't have any thoughts on this fight.
Did you actually bet Maya, Pat?
Not yet.
You're going
Damn.
to.
I have not, but I want to. I just, I want more Casey O'Neill hype to kind of come in.
Yeah, no, I got you, man. All right, well, I personally like Casey O'Neill here in this spot, but I don't know. Let's just skip this one then, because
I love division.
all right. So they're division here. Gunnar Nelson, Barbarina. What do you guys think on this one?
I'm not sure I have play for show purposes. I would sprinkle Bam Bam just for fun. You know what I mean? Just to throw a tiny little dart at it just to have some skin in the game. But Gunner probably wrestle fucks his way to a pretty comfortable decision. If I had to guess, that would be my likely outcome here.
Pat, what do you think? You want to skip this one too?
I just don't like the price. Yeah, just Gunner is just way too taxed, man.
All right. So we got the co-main event here: Gaethje and Fiziev.
I hope both
I like.
have fun. I love both of these guys, dude.
Yeah,
Hey,
this is
look at this. Fight ends by KO.
no way.
That fucking
That's so
bonkers,
sick.
man.
That is sick.
Honestly, the
$10,000
best,
to
that can't be
best
right. That can't be right.
value, best value
That can't
on,
be right. 'Cause look,
Yeah.
yeah, it has to just be a mispress. But the best value on the board really might be fight to go the distance at plus 170, man.
170
Yeah,
here.
that's kind of my prediction as well. I think that this fight does go the distance.
I
You
kind
guys
of
really
think
think it
so
goes the
too.
distance, huh? All right, let's. I trust you guys on this one. Fight goes the distance. Initially, I was like, man, someone's about to get KO'd, but I mean,
This is
I don't know
this
if
is classic
I'm
reverse
not gonna
grain
bet
over
it.
spot.
oh, you're not gonna bet it.
But
Okay, I don't want to like, yeah.
This
If
is
we're
a
not
this is
gonna,
a fight where you just gotta watch. You just gotta watch it as a fan. You don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
stress
Just
out about
enjoy.
money on the fight.
yeah.
Just
Okay, I got
enjoy.
you. All right.
But if you're betting this fight, for all of our listeners at home, I think the bet is either the fight to go the distance or you sprinkle Gaethje just because of the price. I think those are the two acceptable bets on this fight. Anything else, I think you're pressing a little bit.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, here is the one. I think I'm gonna say that we align on this one. I believe
Up the
Leon
lad,
Edwards, right?
up the lads. It's coming home, boys.
All right, what do you think? A full unit on this one on the money line or what?
I'd throw a full
Fuck.
unit, but if we wanna tone it down a little bit, that's fine with me. I just know it's coming home. It's coming home.
Man.
They're gonna have
All right, yeah, let's
full,
go
a
full
full
unit.
ass O2 arena, fucking rock, dude. That his walkout is going to be electric, electric.
God, Harry's talking me into a full unit. I have to
Lizzies
now.
in a box, Lizzies in a box.
Let's do it.
All right,
Those
let's fucking
British
do it.
boys,
All right, it's
dude, they're
210.
so much better. They're so much better at hooliganism than we are.
Oh yeah, their
They're
crowds get
so
into
much
it.
better at it, dude. That's the one thing that Europe will always have on us. They're so much better at just being degenerates than we are.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's just funny. Man. I'm just looking at these other odds here, plus a lot of big plus money plays late in the game. Did we talk about whether or not this can go this distance or is it gonna get finished? Not really, right? We just
Not so
want
much.
Edwards here.
I
I
think
don't
the
have
price
I don't
is
have a
what.
strong opinion on it.
Right. I
Alright,
think the
so-
price is good enough on Edwards that there's no need to go really digging, you know?
Yep.
I'll tell you this though. Roman Dolidze is getting a submission this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Wait, we didn't even do that fight. Wait,
Oh yeah,
are
did we
are we
skip
gonna do
that?
that? Did I thought we went through it. Hold on, we didn't do that fight. Hold on, let's go
Yeah,
back.
they definitely add Roman.
There it is, right there. Vittorio Dolidze. All right. Are we gonna go on the money line here? Or are we gonna go by the sub for the odds?
I wouldn't hate throwing a unit at money line and again just throwing like a a fifth of a unit at the sub line.
So we got plus 900 on the sub, win by sub for Dolidze at
So
DraftKings.
tasty.
What is Vittori in round 3? Just out of curiosity, I just want to see because
Vittori
I do
just to
think
win,
that
just to win, right? Vittori to
in
win
round 3, just to win in round 3, yeah.
I think it was above. Or no, wins around 2 submission.
That's TKO. I think it was just
I
Vittori
think it was up a
wins.
little bit.
Vittori
In
wins
round 1 or
in
2.
3.
That's 3 or decision though. Damn. They don't have that listed, I guess.
No, pull up a little bit. I'm pretty sure I saw it. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Right. Wait.
Plus
Who did you say was
1,000.
up
Vittori.
there?
I don't like it. I don't like plus.
I was gonna
1,000.
say, I
also
would-
think it's something better.
Yeah, that feels like it should be closer to like 2,500, 3,000.
Yeah, I agree. Never mind. Give me Dolidze. Round 1 sub.
round one sub. All right. So what are we doing here? Are we taking the money line, a little bit on the money line, and then a little bit on the sub?
I'm fine
I
if you
think
take
just
the money line.
yeah, I'm fine just taking the money line only because again, you got moment winning versus minute winning, and I think that there is a chance it could go to decision, and no one just. I mean, I might just be blindsided to it. So I think the fair play is probably outright, and this. No offense to Max Grillo, but it's just I just feel there's more value on the dog here than the favorite.
He said it himself though, right? Like, yeah, Marvin's gonna try and pressure, but he also said as long as he doesn't give him a chance for a clear submission or like a crazy submission. So he knows there's that opportunity, but obviously that's his homie. So he's gonna support his homie.
I like
Gotta
it.
ride for your boys.
Exactly.
Yep.
But he did call out that one thing that Harry said. So that's the interesting thing. Are we going to full unit on this one or 3/4? Are we going to half unit?
I'd be fine throwing a full unit, but whatever you guys want.
Yeah, I'm 3/4 unit.
Okay, I was gonna say I think 3/4 would be good.
That feels right.
Yeah.
That feels good.
Oh man.
All right.
This is
That's
gonna
a
be good.
tasty card.
That's a tasty card, yes, sir.
I'm feeling good about this card.
All right, what we got here? So Edwards plus 210 on the money line. Delize plus 235 on the money line. Ashmos win by submission. A small little sprinkle there. Plus 1100. Ashmos on the money line there. Plus 235. Santos, man, all dogs again. Hey, every time we do the all dogs, I think we get the win. I'll tell you that for sure.
Well, put it to you this way: when you bet 3 plus 200 dogs greater than 200, you only need one of them to hit, and you're
Exactly.
profiting. So that's the way MMA works. You don't have to deal with spreads; you got to deal with probability. So
Mhm. All right, let's do it. That's
All
it,
right.
guys.
Great.
all
That
right,
is
cool.
it.
As always.
We'll drop the officials on Twitter as well. We'll send the link out. I'll cut this up in chapters as well so everyone can go to the fights that we talked about. But other than that, man, let's get another big win this week. Let me take
Yes,
this out real
sir.
quick. Yeah, hopefully we cash again, and then until next week, next Wednesday we'll have another show here with myself, Harry, and Pat. Until then, good luck with all your action, guys. Peace.